Turn up the volume.
Everyone together, a little louder. Everybody. One more time, a little louder, please. One more time, a little louder with your heart. 좋은 제목.
clear consciousness throughout.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
And the grounds in here, later.
Rama, Hare One more time, a little louder. Hare.
I try to do Arun Maharaj, I try to sometimes.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I welcome all of you to His Holiness Candramauli Swami daily class. And I will just check with Maharaj in terms of today's verse. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, today is also Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan disappearance day and also Srimati Ganga Mata Goswamini ji appearance day. Are we going to continue on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19 or?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so I'm not prepared for those classes.
Okay, Maharaj. So, dear devotees, we will continue on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, verse 21.
Maybe at the end I'll say something about these two personalities.
Sure, Maharaj. Maharaj, your voice looks very feeble. Devotees, can anybody confirm? Is this at my end or?
No, it's very low. I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Slightly better, Maharaj, but still not.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Still low?
Yes, Maharaj, compared to like every other day, but slightly better than before.
Do you want to use this?
It doesn't work with my computer. It won't work. Okay.
Any other devotee can confirm? Can you hear devotees, please?
I'll speak loud.
It's somewhat better now. Somewhat better now.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Sarve Vayam Tadvar Ihasmahe Tat Kalevaram Yarvaraso Vihaya Lokam Param Virajakam Vishokam Yasya Yayam Bhagavatam Pradanayaha. Translation: We shall all wait here until the foremost devotee of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit, returns to the supreme planet, which is completely freed from all mundane contamination and all kinds of lamentation. Purport: Beyond the limitation of material creation, which is compared to the cloud in the sky, there is the Paravyoma, or the spiritual sky, full of planets called Vaikunthas. Such Vaikuntha planets are also directly known as the Purushottam Loka, Achutya Loka, Trivikrama Loka, Rishikesha Loka, Keshava Loka, Aniruddha Loka, Madhva Loka, Pradyumna Loka, Sankarshana Loka, Sridhara Loka, Vasudeva Loka, Adyodhya Loka, Dwaraka Loka, and many other millions of spiritual lokas where the personality of Godhead predominates. All the living entities there are liberated souls with spiritual bodies as good as that of the Lord. There is no material contamination. Everything there is spiritual, and therefore there is nothing objectionably lamentable. They are full of transcendental bliss and without birth, death, old age, and disease. And amongst all the above mentioned Vaikuntha lokas, there is the supreme loka called Goloka Vrindav, which is the abode of Lord Krishna and his specific associates. Maharaj Parikshit was destined to achieve this particular loka, and the great rishis assembled there could foresee this. All of them consulted among themselves about the great departure of the great king, and they wanted to see him up to the last moment, because they would no more be able to see such a great devotee of the Lord. When the great devotee of the Lord passes away, there is nothing to be lamented, because the devotee is destined to enter into the kingdom of God. Move it up. Come on, move it up. Come on, Vrindavanath, wake up. Come on. Move it up, move it up, move it up. Okay. As the Lord is rarely to be seen by our present eyes, so also are the great devotees. The great rishis therefore correctly decided to remain on the spot till the last moment. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gana Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhupa Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the departure of a great soul from the earthly realm in the mood of pure love for Krishna, as this particular purport confirms, there's no question about his destiny. He will actually achieve not only the spiritual world, but the highest planet in the spiritual world. He is a worship of Lord Shri Krishna, not one of the incarnations of Krishna, which are mentioned here in the Vaikuntha realms. He is his father was, we say, Abhimanyu, and his father's father, his grandfather was Arjuna, and Arjuna was a personal associate of Lord Shri Krishna. So he comes in the line of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And one worships Krishna on the highest platform in the mood of his pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And because of that, and because of his pure devotion, he will attain to that destination. The great sages are really happy to have the opportunity to be with such a great personality at the time of his departure. Although they are great personalities and they are great in themselves, they're Atmaramas, they're fully satisfied in themselves, and many of them are great tapasis, also great devotees of the Lord. Still, they want to be present with such a great personality who was a king, who was engaged in material affairs, leaves the world, and now will, by their understanding, they give the jurisdiction, he will come back to Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. This is glorious. Here Prabhupada says, when a great devotee departs from the world, there's no cause for lamentation. But yet, there is some type of lamentation, which is that people feel bereft of that association of that great soul. It says that when the spiritual master leaves, you should cry. And that's mentioned in the Bhagavata. And there's one particular pastime, Mayadwaja, when he left the planet, his wife, who was also his disciple, was lamenting his loss. So this to Prabhupada and mentions in the purport that this is a proper mood that one should express their loss in the form of emotional expression for the departure of one's spiritual master. But still, that should not relegate one to that mood. That is just an initial response. And then gradually one moves on to the point of absorbing themselves in the mission of the spiritual master. That way they connect with the spiritual master, even while the spiritual master is no longer personally present. When Srila Prabhupada was traveling in Calcutta, he went to various places in Calcutta, but he didn't go to the place of his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. His god brothers found fault with that, that thing. Oh, it must have been my fault. I put it upside down.
Oh,
Did you turn?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, it was Mayapur.
That was Mayapur. Yeah, well, yeah, no, Prabhupada went to all of the different places. But then what happened was his god brothers found fault with him. And Prabhupada said, don't they understand I'm never separated from my spiritual master? I'm always with him. So Prabhupada was giving the indication that one who fully absorbs themselves in the instructions of the spiritual master as their life's mission, there's no question of separation. Separation is due to a certain state of consciousness, and separation can be experienced in two different ways. That in the ecstasy of love, one feels separation, and then the other one is, well, my spiritual master is no longer personally present, therefore we're separated. But that's the material conception, which is due to the lack of understanding of the relationship between the spiritual master and disciple. It's an eternal relationship, and time and place, circumstance cannot break that relationship. The relationship simply is broken by consciousness. And when the consciousness is directed away from the instructions of the spiritual master, or if the disciple doesn't see the importance of following the instructions, then there is not a break in relationship, but there's a break in consciousness of that relationship. And therefore the disciple feels that he is without. But actually it's not true. And Prabhupada also taught us that we are never separated as long as we are engaged in devotional service. He even said that even when the spiritual master is personally present on the planet, if the spiritual master is in one place and the disciple is in another place, Prabhupada said, you are chanting Hare Krishna, I am chanting Hare Krishna, we are together. We are together through the spiritual practice and not simply physical. Prabhupada said physical association it can go either way. It can bring one closer or it can take one farther away. So Bapu is dualistic, that it can bring one away from the spiritual master if one is not in the right mood in that personal association. But if one is in the right mood, that is in the mood of service and surrender, then that personal association is very relishable. Very relishable. And one learns so much in devotional service. So here, it's glorious. And so when the great souls leave, Prabhupada said there's nothing to lament because they're going back home. There's a story with Ramanujacharya where, no, actually it was Jamunacharya. I think it was not Ramanuja, Jamunacharya, wherein he was on his deathbed and he was about to leave. And some of the disciples that were there, they were crying. And then he responded to that by, "You're not listening. That's because you don't chant your rounds. That's why you're not listening." You chant your rounds and you pay attention. And so Jamunacharya saw that disciples were crying. He said, "I should be crying for you because you have to stay here." This is, yeah. I'm going back to the spiritual world. You're still in this material world. I feel sorry for you. That was a powerful message that, we're thinking just because someone leaves this world, it's lamentable in the sense that it is a loss for the person when that person is very dear to them. So that initial feeling of unhappiness or lamentation is an expression of their love for that person and the loss that they feel when that person is no longer present. But that is only a quick experience. It shouldn't last very long. And one moves on to, again, connecting with the spiritual master in the mood of service. So this is very important to understand. So Satyarup Maharaj has written a nice book. I think it's Separation, it's called. The short little book describing what happened when Srila Prabhupada left the planet and how different devotees responded to his departure. Some devotees actually left the ISKCON movement. They thought it was impossible for them to stay. Srila Prabhupada's notes were present. Others, even those others who maybe never had Prabhupada's personal association, became stronger in their Krishna consciousness. So it's the instructions that connect the spiritual master and disciple eternally. And the more one absorbs themselves in the instructions, we should be asking ourselves every minute, what is the instructions of my spiritual master in relationship to my present situation? When we start absorbing ourselves in that, then we get connection with the spiritual master and we get the understanding of how to execute devotional service. Because just like the spiritual master will never refuse a request from his disciple if the request is in relationship to the disciple making advancement in Krishna consciousness or overcoming some material obstacles. So even though the spiritual master is not personally present, if we're still making those prayers, asking those questions, we will get the answers. May not come immediately, but the answers will come in very quickly, actually very quickly. Because the spiritual master never gives up his service, although he goes back to the spiritual world. He's always still working with his disciples through various energies to bring them closer and closer to the path of pure devotional service. So it's an eternal relationship. It's a deep relationship. It's something that cannot be understood by material, what we say, logic and mind analysis. It's only done through the mood of service. And here, so the great souls, they are simply waiting for Maharaj Parikshit. They're actually also waiting for that person to appear, which will come up in a few more verses, the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. And then everyone will sit there and gain immense transcendental knowledge in the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam recited by the person Bhagavatam himself, Sukadev Goswami. Okay, I'll stop there. I'll speak a little bit about Baladev Vidyabhushan. But before we do that, let's get some questions and comments based on this particular topic that we've been discussing.
Thanks, Maharaj.
I have an
Amazing
audience in
point.
front, I have an audience in front of me, so if it's something I'm saying it doesn't make sense, that means I'm talking to them.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yeah, there's a small audience here, four personalities. Great
So,
person.
Maharaj, you want to take questions first from that audience who are there?
Oh, they don't want to ask any questions. Oh, we got one. It's Anasuya, so you all know Anasuya, so if she's
Yes.
here. Okay, come in front of the camera here, or over there. So, yeah. So this is Mother Anasuya. She is the supreme Zoom host of all Zoom hostesses, ever on the level of, Paramahansa host. She doesn't like my praising, but anyway. Okay.
Marge, when you spoke about spiritual master, the Vapo and the Vani, and the importance of a disciple asking the spiritual master every time, having consciousness, how can I serve you, how can I please you?
Yeah.
We see much in today's times, if the gurus in one country, the disciples in another country, and the guru is in such a situation where the connection between the disciple and the guru is not consistent, like they don't even see, they don't connect, they don't write. What happens to the progress march of that disciple if that is weak?
The question is in relationship to geography, when the guru and the disciple are in two different places, and there hasn't been any prior communication. What happens to that disciple in his relationship with his spiritual master? Yeah, he'll grow weak unless the spiritual master recommends that he take shelter of someone in the local area and get all his questions answers, assist him in his execution of his devotional service. We also do that and try to inspire the disciples to take shelter in the local area, because many times the spiritual master is not available. Even if he is available, sometimes it becomes difficult. So yeah, but if there's no connection with any senior person in the execution of one's devotional service, no one is strong enough to make progress by themselves. It's not possible, especially in this age of Kali. It's not possible. You will be defeated. It's just the way the material energy is arranged. Therefore, sadhu sangha is very important. Also, relationships with senior devotees help open up the door to higher knowledge, and it also clears the path for bhakti. All of these are important. And so, yeah. So we see when there's people who don't want the instructions of their spiritual master because they're afraid they'll get some instructions that they won't like or don't want to execute, and therefore they remain somewhat aloof. But they can't be aloof from the external energy. Material energy will drag them down. And spiritual life is very subtle. You can't really understand it simply by the physical way things are happening in front of you. It's all about transcendental knowledge and the application of transcendental knowledge, which requires guidance. Unless you're on the platform, if you have done that for a long time, and if you have become proficient in both of those areas, then you can also use your intelligence how to apply this knowledge that you've gained from previous experiences and make progress in that way. But one shouldn't assume that I'm advanced. I don't need any guidance. That is, Prabhupada said, that indication shows that you're not advanced. The whole society is centered around association, and it's Bhagavatam is questions and answers. Maharaj Parikshit is asking questions, Sukadev Goswami is answering. It's not like Maharaj Parikshit is just sitting there listening. His intelligence is activated by hearing properly. When your intelligence is activated through proper hearing, you get questions or you get realizations. And so he's doing that. And therefore, many of the exchanges between these two great personalities are responses to questions. Yeah. So we should ask questions for clarification and for gaining further knowledge. Any questions? Mm-hmm.
Maharaj, there is one question on the chat from Rishabh Prabhu. He's saying, Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev and Vaishnava, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, dear Gurudev. Before I heard the quality of our life depends on the quality of our questions. Can we say that our spiritual progress depends on the quality of questions we ask ourselves? Like, how can I overcome? As I understood from the lecture, we can always pray to you how to overcome our obstacles, and the answer will come.
I would. That's a little risky. If the spiritual master is available, you ask. That way there's no doubt when you receive the answer. If you depend on your own intelligence, you may, and we see that devotees do that, and then when something, and then they go ahead and do something, and when something goes wrong, then they question, well, maybe I did the wrong thing. But when something goes wrong, it doesn't mean that the instructions that you receive are wrong. It's just that that's the way material energy works sometimes. What I'm trying to explain is that when you get an instruction and you carry it out and something goes wrong, you're fine, because even things go wrong, you're sheltered by the proper instructions. But if you do it yourself and then something goes wrong, automatically doubts will come. Oh, I made the wrong decision. So yeah, that's, I mean, we have to stay in line with the protocol. Questions and answers. The whole Bhagavatam is questions and answers, not only from Maharaj Parikshit. You get questions and answers throughout the whole Bhagavatam. You get questions from even the author of the Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva, is asking questions to Narada Muni, his spiritual master. He's the author of Bhagavatam. He's putting it in writing, and he's even asking questions. So why do we think we're, so advanced we don't need to ask questions? We can just pray and get the answers ourselves.
Thanks, Maharaj. He's asking another second question, but before I ask second question, any other devotee, if you have any questions?
Sri Devi is sleeping. Come on. you, you always got a question. Your questions are good because they're benefit for everybody online.
Oh, thank you for encouraging me, Gurudev. Most of the times, I think I'm such a nuisance, irritating everybody. So I did have a question actually. I was mulling over how to frame it about this tendency that we have um, to want to do something so bad and say, I will inform my spiritual master afterwards. Now we know Maya is ready to capture us by exactly this kind of thinking, but yet the temptation becomes so strong. So I was thinking how we can restrain ourselves, how we can understand that this is not good for me.
Well, that's a quality of humility. That means we're not developing the proper mood where we're proudly thinking it's all right to do it without the proper guidance and instructions. Or again, we're afraid of what we might hear when we ask. He might say, don't do that. If you have faith in Krishna and Guru, Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir, Yata Devi Tata Guru, Tasyaitav Kartitam Yata Prakasanatma Mahatmanaha. That faith in Guru and Krishna, when it's implicit, that means without any other consideration, brings one to transcendental knowledge automatically, even without asking the questions. But that kind of faith is complete. Like Prabhupada used to say, my spiritual master is wrong, but he's right. Now, do we have that kind of faith? If we don't, then we must, get that faith through communications, through proper inquiry. And that's why the spiritual master's here. When the devotees don't take advantage of their spiritual master by asking questions that are relevant to their practice of devotional service, then they don't understand the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. The spiritual master is not just some priest that puts you into the society of ISKCON, gives you a name, and tells you, okay, you do this, and then, we'll see you back to Godhead after so many lifetimes. It's not like that. He's not some official. He's actually Krishna's representative. Yeah, you're laughing because it's true. That's why. There are people like that. Once I get initiated, okay, I don't need Guru anymore. I did it. I made it onto the club. I joined the ISKCON club. I got a name. I'm cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You should tip on all of this. Words. Can you explain further this point about the Prabhupada into Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, the Prabhupada, when spiritual master is wrong, but he's right. In the training that I got from Bhakti Maharaj, I just go by what he says, and that's that. I've never thought that he's wrong. Even if the material thing that was supposed to be goes off, my thought is this was the instruction that I was given, and I will just report back to him what happened. That's the way I've always looked at it.
Yeah. The question is that when the devotee is asking that his spiritual master is no longer personally present, he understands the instructions, he never questions the instructions, and he says, is that okay? When the spiritual master is personally present and there's some doubt that may come up about the instructions or one's ability to execute the instructions, one may, in a humble way, present a question to the spiritual master just for clarification, or the spiritual master might say, well, maybe all right, and maybe that service is, I'll give you something else. That's in line with the proper protocol. But once the spiritual master is gone, then if you can somehow or other stay fixed on his instructions, then that relationship will continue. Even though, because you should have asked your questions while he was here.
I'm not worried. So.
But now you can't say, well, I think he would have told me something else, but that's just some kind of speculation and conjecture. And you can never lose from that position, because that is the foundation by which bhakti works, the complete adherence to the instructions. Bhakti works that way.
Maharaj, to piggyback on Richard's question, so if.
Come on a little closer so they can hear your question.
So, to piggyback.
Can you hear Anasuya?
Yes, Maharaj, little, like towards the end it was better.
Go this way. We're vegetarians. Come on.
Maharaj, so to piggyback on Richard's question, so if the spiritual master is not present physically, and, questions that we are not sure what the answer is it all right to go to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Someone on a god brother who was practically on an equal level or superior than your spiritual master. You can go for further advice or even clarifications from some of the instructions. Give you an example. Srila Prabhupada, after Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati left the planet, he appeared to Srila Prabhupada in 2 dreams saying, take sannyas. And Prabhupada was not inclined. He didn't want to take sannyas. He said, well, I was so fearful when I got those dreams. He wants me to leave my family and my everything and take sannyas. So Prabhupada, and then when he got the second dream, which wasn't much later, he went in the middle of the night, when he got the dream, to his god brother, Sridhar Swami. And he said, this is Guru Maharaj is telling me to take sannyas. And then Sridhar Swami said, and then he explained the benefits of taking sannyas. So then he did it. But with the help of Sridhar Swami, it helped clear up some of the hesitations that Prabhupada had after receiving that instruction. Now he talks about, after he took sannyas, he says, he said, I gave up my family, but now I have 300 children. Along with no wife, which is, he said, which is no more botheration. That's for sannyasis to say that. Don't nobody else repeat that. So one should seek out those who are very close to your spiritual master, who know his mind.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's
So,
no,
Maharaj,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
Maharaj, there is a second question from Rishabh Prabhu, and a bit related question. He's saying, what if the disciple is afraid to approach his spiritual master because he is afraid and he will not be understood? Please enlighten me.
Well, then he should go to one of his god brothers, who may be our senior god brother or something, and explain his feelings, his hesitation, and probably see if he can get some, what we say, some encouragement, some enthusiasm to go ahead. In other words, he might have to talk to somebody who is on an equal level and explain, this is my feeling. I want to approach Guru Maharaj. This is my question. Give me some advice. What do you think? How do I do it? All these things are available in the Association of Devotees.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Has asked a question.
Yes, Mataji has asked this question. Should a disciple share one's realizations with the spiritual master, or is it better to share with a mentor or a close senior devotee?
You can share with the spiritual master, because he'll tell you basically what it is. Like one lady was telling me, oh, Srila Prabhupada is appearing in my dreams, and he's sitting on the sofa, and my head is on his lap. She said that to me. I said, that's not Prabhupada. That's a ghost. And then she said, no, it's Prabhupada. I'm sure it's Prabhupada. She wouldn't listen. So anyway, then she had another dream where that same Prabhupada appeared in the dream and started smashing all the windows and breaking things in the house. I told her it was a ghost, and it took that much for her to actually realize it was a ghost. Because sometimes ghosts will take the form of the spiritual master, or even the Lord, in the dream, and present themselves as being that person. But Prabhupada said, the spiritual master will not do anything in the dream that he would not do, that he doesn't do in physical, when he's on the physical plane. You can't imagine some other relationship.
Maharaj, why does the ghost take that form?
Just to trick the disciple. Ghosts are they're always into playing tricks. That's what they do, because they disturb people, playing tricks, or causing people difficulties. There's different kinds of ghosts. We won't talk about ghosts too long. As you said, if you speak about ghosts, they come. So, but there's different kinds. There's ones that are benevolent, and then there's ones that are just mischievous and want to cause trouble. Yeah. Okay, Sri Devi, you're on.
Guru Maharaj, I also have this concern, this question about the spiritual master leaving because disciples remain neophyte for a very long time and don't progress. Is it true that the spiritual master leaves when the disciples just remain neophyte for too long?
Prabhupada said, my spiritual master left because there were too many neophyte disciples. Said, well, that's one of the reasons why the spiritual master leaves, when the disciples stay neophyte. Despite his efforts to bring them up, they can't go up for whatever reason. They don't go up. So he'll leave. And he does it also he leaves also for another reason. When we say his dedicated disciples, those are fixed. He leaves to bring them even to a higher state. Those who are in the middle, when they leave, then they're faced with the choice of continuing or falling away, and he gives them that opportunity to move. So what he's trying to do, he leaves to move people. He can't, for some reason, when he's there, they're not moving. So this leaving really helps them to move, and the neophyte devotees fall away. They become more more inactive in devotional service. You can take off that offering. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank
So
you for
that's
the
one of the reasons,
clarification,
yeah.
Guru Maharaj.
Sakshi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, like you said, that it's important to remain under the shelter of local authorities. But with me, there's a problem that because of conditionings and experiences from material life, it's difficult to maintain faith. And we are also worried that we might commit offenses by not following their instructions and at the end deceiving them. So what to do in this situation? Is it okay to uh, be with them for some time and just observe whether things are going okay and then give our commitment to them? Like,
You're saying we lose our focus when material difficulties become more.
Maharaj, no, I was saying that it's difficult to maintain faith because of our conditionings and experiences from material life. It's difficult to remain
That
faithful.
means your faith is weak.
Yes.
You have to strengthen that faith through hearing, through association, and through, to these things. Yeah, faith is, Prabhupada speaks about that in one particular verse. Vrindavanath, go to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse number 3. Chapter 9, verse 3. That whole verse is about, the whole purport is about faith. So there's different levels of faith. There's first class faith, second class faith. It says here, those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. The faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. Faith is created by association of devotees. Yeah. And then he goes on to explain a little farther down. Thus, faith is the most important factor in the execution of devotional service. There are three divisions of Krishna conscious men. In the third class are those who have no faith. Even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve highest perfectional service stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. They may become engaged, but because they have a complete conviction and faith, it's very difficult for them to continue. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna conscious with some hidden motive. And as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their own ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as development of faith, one who is well versed in literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first-class person. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith they have taken it up. They are superior to the third class, who have neither perfect knowledge of scripture nor good faith by association. So, there are different levels of faith that's described here. So strengthen your faith through transcendental knowledge and through what we say, proper association.
thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you very much. So, Maharaj, when faith comes, it would be easy to surrender and it would be easy to give commitment to particular.
Yeah, naturally.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's natural.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Christians have a nice statement about faith. You think faith is the evidence of things yet unseen and the proof of things yet to come. Faith is the evidence of things yet unseen and the proof of things yet to come. Pretty good. That's from Christian tradition. Think about that one.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Right.
So there is no further questions, Maharaj, on the chat or here. Should we have some, if possible, on Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan disappearance life?
I'll just mention Baladev Vidyabhushan. Prabhupada dedicated the Bhagavad Gita to him. It's mentioned in the very beginning. Baladev was a great personality, and he was in the area of, what was that place?
Ramuna?
No. Where we get all our deities from. Jaipur. He was in Jaipur, and there was a group of people called the Ramanandis. Ramanandis were an offshoot of Sri Sampradaya. And they were criticizing the Gaudiya Vaishnavas for not having a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And of course, our commentary on Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. But they didn't accept it. They wanted a separate. So they complained to the king, I think it was King Govinda Singh at the time, that these Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not authorized because authorization only comes when you have a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And so they didn't accept Bhagavatam as an so they were quite prominent at the time. So they was thinking, all right, well, who's going to write a commentary? What Vaishnava is going to write a commentary? So they contacted Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Vrindavan, and he was old and he couldn't travel. And so he said, I can't do it. I'm too old, I can't travel. I also have other activities. So, but then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, Baladev Vidyabhushan, he is actually qualified to do it. So when they approached Baladev, he didn't feel qualified. But after getting recommended by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to do the commentary, he thought, I should try. So he decided to go to the deity of Govindaji in Jaipur. You've been to that temple, Govindaji temple in Jaipur? It's the Mangal Arti is thousands of people every day go to that Mangal Arti. So that deity is very, very famous. And it was, of course, later brought there when Aurangzeb attacked Vrindavan, and they took some of the deities out of Vrindavan to save from the attack of Aurangzeb, and they brought Govindaji to Jaipur, and he's been there ever since. This is Rupa Goswami's deity. And so Baladev, in a very prayerful mood, prayed to Govindaji to give him the ability, intelligence, the knowledge he needed to do this great work of writing the commentary. And while he was praying, the garland from Govindaji fell. And this was the indication that Baladev, you write it, I'll speak it. That came out as part of that relationship, that encounter, that Govindaji actually communicated it. You write it, you put it on paper, and I'll speak it. So he named it Govinda Bhashya, the words of Govinda. And when they presented that as the commentary for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas to the Ramanandis, along with the king, everyone unanimously accepted that as the commentary. But we didn't really need one because Srimad Bhagavatam is our commentary on Vedanta Sutra. But just to satisfy the king at the time, who was also inclined to what the Ramanandis said, and the Ramanandis were quite prominent at that time in that area. And so to authorize our Sampradaya, Baladev did the work. Govindaji spoke it. Prabhupada used to say, I'm not writing these books. Krishna's speaking, I'm just putting the words on paper. These are not my words. So that's, yeah, a great soul knows that they are simply a channel for the knowledge coming from the Supreme Lord. Because they are connected with the Supreme Lord directly, they get all their knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Well, Dave.
Naren Prabhu, you raised your hand earlier.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay.
Okay, sorry, it's Narendra Prabhu's wife, Vasanti Mataji. I had a question to Maharaj. I would like to surrender, but I don't know how to surrender, and how do you know if you are surrender or not?
Surrender is a state of consciousness where one commits themselves to the instructions of the spiritual master and commits themselves to carry out the instructions of the spiritual master.
Yeah.
And they focus on that as their main activity. So the spiritual master gives general instructions, and he gives, in some cases, but not all, specific instructions. The general instructions are there for everyone. Chant 16 rounds, follow these 4 principles: no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex. Read every day Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. These are general instructions for all disciples and everyone who comes to Krishna consciousness. And one can take up the process by doing that. Another instruction is to worship the deity in the temple. That means visit the temple regularly and take opportunities to offer your prayers, obeisances to the deities. These are all general instructions that take only Krishna prasadam, not food cooked by non-devotees or food coming from the outside. These are general instructions. And then you can connect yourself to a living spiritual master, work under his direction, and get specific and direct instructions on how you should serve in your practice of Krishna consciousness. So it's a process.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
There is one question, Maharaj, on the chat from Balram Prabhu and Tanja Mataji. They are saying, dear Guru, sorry, may I read, Maharaj?
Yeah.
So they are saying, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. Thank you for the wonderful and always inspiring lesson. I always have a problem with asking questions because I am very shy and I am afraid that my question is not qualified enough. My question is, how do we develop a feeling, or how do we get to the point where we know something is qualified enough? How do we know that we are progressing and developing our spiritual life? I always like to get involved in services and read and do something for Krishna, but I always have the feeling that I am not qualified enough. Your servant Tanja and Balram.
Don't worry about being qualified. Nobody's qualified. The spiritual master gives you the qualification by his instructions. Then you become qualified. How do you know you're making progress in devotional service? Two ways. One is you're losing your attraction for material association, material activities. You're increasing your attraction to associate more with devotees, and you are becoming more eager for the activities of Krishna consciousness. When you have a fever and you take the medicine, how do you know you're getting well? When the fever goes down. So the fever of material energy life starts to reduce as we practice Krishna consciousness. That's an indication we're moving forward. Just take a look at yourself 1 year ago and see where you were there and see where you are now. And you should be able to see that, oh, I've made some progress. And so in that way we can see. The other way is that, am I developing the qualities of a Vaishnava? How much am I developing these qualities? Humility, tolerance, patience, pridelessness, respect for others, not disturbed by happiness and distress, becoming more eager for devotional service, simplicity. These are all of the qualities that are mentioned as the qualities of the Vaishnavas. There are 26 qualities that are listed, and see how much you're developing these qualities. You can go to Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse number 12. In the purport, there is a listing of these 26 qualities. They can be found in other places also. 5, 18, 12. There's a listing of these 26 qualities. Read them and see how much you're actually developing these qualities. You can read them, Vrindavan.
Yes, Maharaj. So these 26 qualities. First, he is very kind to everyone. Second, he does not make anyone his enemy. Third, he is truthful. Fourth, he is equal to everyone. Five, no one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. And last, he is silent.
Silent means not talking nonsense. Okay, there you go. Read these qualities. Satyarup Maharaj has written a book mentioning these 26 qualities with explanations of each one. The book is called 26 Qualities, right? You can get that book, explanation. Prabhupada speaks about some of these qualities throughout his lectures. throughout in his books also are mentioned. Now, these are the barometers where you can see how much you're making advancement, how much you're developing these qualities. Okay?
And
We have a question from Teja.
yes, Teja Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. So I have a question. In the starting of lecture, you have mentioned that the relationship between disciple and spiritual master is eternal. I just need some maybe a clarification and better understanding of this this line. So my question is, so like once this once the disciple path like moves from this world and goes to just in this scenario goes to another like maybe takes next path, so then he takes a initiation from a different spiritual master. Is it so? Should we consider the spiritual master in next life is also the same as earlier, or he's different?
Spiritual master is one. There's no such thing as two spiritual masters. Guru is one, Krishna is one, truth is one, the path back to Godhead is one. But there are manifestations of that oneness in different forms. So that same spiritual master will come back in another form for that devotee. Or he may work through another devotee to bring his disciple back to him. We have the example of Bilvamangal Thakur. When he was chasing after the prostitute Chintamani, she chastised him for doing that. And she said, if you had as much attachment to this body of mine as you do it for Krishna, your life would be perfect. And it's unexplained that it wasn't her speaking, it was his spiritual master speaking through her. And therefore, in his prayers, he glorifies Krishna, his previous spiritual master, whose name was Somagiri, and Chintamani as his guru. So, yeah, the spiritual master is an eternal relationship, but it may manifest in different forms. So.
Thank you.
Thanks, Teja Prabhu. Naren Prabhu, I see your hands raised again. Or Mataji, sorry.
No, that was the last time. They just forgot to stop.
Yeah, I just wanted to check. Probably looks like, yeah.
Last time.
Shridevi Mataji, I see your also hands raised. Oh, yeah. You want to show?
Yes, please. I would like to ask a question. As Guru Maharaj was relating all these different qualities, and we find ourselves lacking in these qualities, how should we not beat ourselves up or feel embarrassed or feel bad about ourselves because we don't have these qualities and would like to acquire them, but at present they are not there. So how can we be patient and not feel bad about ourselves?
Well, it's good to feel like, well, I have a ways to go yet. But feeling bad means you think you can do it. And when you can't do it, you think, well, I'm not qualified. You feel, as you said, bad. But you can't do it. All you can do is pray for the mercy and work in that way. And when the mercy comes, you become qualified to develop these qualities. The principle is your personal endeavor and Krishna's mercy makes up the success of all activities. your endeavor brings about the mercy of Krishna. If you don't make any endeavor, then mercy will not manifest. And that's not that Krishna told Arjuna, you sleep on the chariot and I'll fight. No. He said, whether you fight or not, victory will come because that's my desire. So we have to act, and we have to act in a very determined way in our execution of Krishna consciousness. But that act alone is not sufficient to bring about the desired result. But that act inspires that mercy to manifest. It says if you really want Krishna, you have to cry for Krishna. If you can't cry for Krishna, you can't get him.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
We got a question on the local level here.
Maharaj, regarding the 26 qualities, so in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verses 1 to 3, there is also a list of qualities. So are these like synonymous? Or?
He's asking there in the chapter 16, in the first 3 verses, mentions that a listing of, I think it's 25 qualities there, of the Vaishnavas. But they're similar, but there's some other things, like fearlessness is mentioned there. So 26, that list is more or less the prototype to work with, but there are many other qualities also. Says that Radharani has 25 outstanding qualities, but she has unlimited qualities. But they say 25. They say Krishna has 64 qualities, but these are the ones that are prominent. He has unlimited qualities. So yeah, these lists are always just partial of what is available, or what falls into that same category is much more than what you read. But if you follow at least one of the 2 lists, then you're fixed. Okay, so we can stop here.
Yes, Maharaj, there is no further questions. So with your permission, thank you very much, Maharaj. Sorry, somebody saying something?
Yeah, is it possible, Gurudev, for us to chant a couple of rounds together, or you have no time?
Kind of late on our side here. We got
That's
other things to do, and there's other devotees here. There's 5 or 6 other devotees. So
okay, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
You have one person that would be very happy to chant with you. I could leave him with you, and you can chant with him. You want to do that? Yeah. It's not whatever I say. It's just some suggestion. You want to chat with them online?
I'm going to chant Maharaj anyway.
He decided he'll chant later. Okay, so we tried.
Thank you, Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Glory to Prabhupada. Thank you all for being here today, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
All glories to Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.